गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Okay. So in the 6th chapter, 28th shloka we were discussing long before. After a long time I am resuming my Sunday classes on Gita in English. Okay. Tomorrow I have to resume my Telugu Gita Bhashya talks too on Mondays. I shall try tomorrow, but today English talks. Okay. Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashah. Yogi means a meditator, a contemplator. He is talking of nididhyasana. Evam yunjan. Earlier we told prashanta manasam. So a yogi who concentrates. Yoga means concentration. Concentrates where? Two things are there. One is he turns his mind inwards. Withdraws his attention from the external world. Attention, not simply attention, even the attachment, interest, taste. He withdraws his taste, interest from the external world. Generally, mind keeps on dwelling on the external things. When you lose interest in external things, mind is supposed to withdraw and pay attention towards the Atma. So this is what is required. Otherwise, you see, most of the time mind keeps on thinking. Subconsciously, lot of worldly things we retain in our mind. That has to be erased. Mind has to be emptied of the external thoughts, impressions and all. Okay. So, yunjan in yoga, in nididhyasana, first pay attention towards yourself and withdraw from the external world. So, yunjannevam sadatmanam. All the time, yunjan, let me read the bhashya. Evam sada atmanam. Sada means sarvada. Nididhyasana is not for a short while, but it's a continuously. My attention from the external world has to be withdrawn. So sada atmanam vigata kalmashaha. Evam sada atmanam yunjan. Yunjan means paying attention or concentrating on atma. Yogi vigata kalmashaha. Yogi yogantaraya varjitaha. So yunjan yathoktena kramena yogi. He has become yogi means he has not become complete yogi. He is only a sadhaka yogi. So why do we call him yogi? Because he is practicing yoga. He has not perfected the yoga. So yogantaraya varjitaha. He has become free from the antaraya. He has become free from the defects of yoga. Obstructions for his yoga means concentration. He has become free from the obstructions of the yoga. Yogantaraya varjitaha. Atmanam yunjan. What does he do? Vigata kalmasho bhutva. More and more you have to withdraw from the external world and pay attention towards the Atma. This itself is a very big job. Very big job. In meditation, it's a very important portion that when you sit in your meditation seat, what you do is withdraw from the external world gradually. So if you have done sufficiently Shravana and Manana, that means you have listened to Vedanta and you have done Manana, reflection on it, and you understand all Nama Rupa is like dream only. All Nama Rupas is like dream. But since we have been continuously interacting with the world, somewhere some attachment remains. Subconsciously, unconsciously, attachment to the world, because our reactions show how much attachment we have towards the world. It may be dharmic reaction, but still it is an attachment. In Vedanta, when you come to nididhyasana, even the dharmic interest also should be withdrawn. Withdrawn in the sense, it should not disturb you, should not attract you. Even if a dharmic event, even if it's something good for the society, also should not attract. Because attachment is an attachment. Whether you are doing for the good of the people or for the bad of the people, attachment is an attachment. Okay, therefore you withdraw from all attachment, means all interest, even if it is a good interest also, mind has to withdraw. Then reaction also. So even in the interest of dharma, dharma means good of the society. Even for the good of the society, you shouldn't react. That's because, how to do that? I'm telling how to do that, because whole world is acting. Guna gunayashu vartante iti matvas na sajjate. The entire world is acting according to its gunas, sattva, rajas, tama. In a given situation, as the context comes, it happens. So it should not be a personal involvement, a personal interest in it. It's, see, in a society where you have to act, you have to do something good to society. Generally, we think that unless we do these things, although it is a good work, although it is a service, but unless I do, people will suffer. This attachment should be given up. You are just an instrument. Just like the wind is blowing and the water is flowing, your body, mind and sense organs are working. So the good qualities, the good nature, they come automatically. So doing good to people also should not become an attachment. Doing good to society also should not become an attachment. That means it should not be a personal interest. As the guna gunayashu vartante, that's a very good statement of the Gita. Nanavaptam avaptavyam vartayeva cha karmani, he says. I am not interested to achieve anything personally. Yet things happen because, see, a person without having any personal interest, when somebody is in trouble, the good heart, sattvic heart, automatically goes to help him. Okay, let that happen, no problem. But that identity, that abhimana should not motivate him, that I must do. If I don't do, who will do? So this, my individuality should not come in the way in helping the people. Even the helping the people is done by the sattvika quality in you. As you become sattvika, the thing happens on its own. Ultimately, it should not be your personal interest. In short, you have to say that helping others, serving others should not be a personal interest. Things just happen. Even doing good also happens. Therefore, he doesn't react personally, doesn't take interest personally. It is neither a personal interest nor a personal reaction. Then it becomes easy to see guna gunayashu vartante. Naiva atma, he says. Guna gunayashu vartante. Things happen on their own. A sattvika quality does it and it goes on. So if such a person, to vigata yogi, vigata kalmashaha, he becomes free from all kalmasha, all impurity. Because when he sits in meditation, this purity is an absolute purity. Even the interest in good things also are not there. You remain just sakshi. You remain just the consciousness. Neither good interest nor bad interest. You don't cultivate, you don't nurse any personal interest. Even if it is a noble value, you don't cultivate a value. You don't cultivate a social value. Okay? It just remaining sakshi is the only thing. Okay? Therefore, vigata kalmashaha becomes free from tamas and rajas. He becomes free from tamoguna and rajoguna and remains purely sattvic. Once you become purely sattvic, it becomes easy to transcend all three gunas. Generally, there is no such thing called pure sattva, because all sattva is partly combined with rajas. When you become completely sattva, then you can't remain in qualities, you transcend all qualities. Okay, when you become completely sattva, tattva means only jnanam, then even the individuality becomes badhitam, becomes falsified, and you remain as a pure Chaitanya Matram. Therefore, here the purpose of nididhyasana is purification. Purification is not your conscious attempt. You just remain all your interest in the world, as an individual you don't act, and you have no personal interest in any one of them, either good or bad. So this withdrawal, because the world, everything is only like a dream. In dream things happen. You don't have to consciously take interest in anything. This is very interesting thing. That means it is not an ideal for you. You don't have an ideal you have to work for. In nididhyasana stage, you have no ideals to work for. I'll give you a very simple example which helps you to understand easily. You don't think of your daily routine work as a big work. Like I have to get up at so and so time early morning, and then I have to brush my teeth, I have to take my bath and wear my clothes. All these things, do you think of it as a big plan, as an ideal? When the time comes, things just happen. It doesn't sit in your mind as a plan, as an idea. Because there's a routine thing. When you're hungry, you eat something. When you're thinking, you feel like drinking, you drink some milk or something. So things happen. When you're hungry, you eat. You don't make a plan that, no, I should eat, I should wake up, and I should take bath and do all those things. Because they don't constitute your ideals for you. Because they have become natural life to you. Similarly, he lives naturally, doesn't have any ideals, desires, ambitions. No, even good ambitions for the good of the society, true, he doesn't have any ambitions. Because ambition, why, what is wrong if I have a desire or ambition? Any ambition comes from you. It is my ambition, my desire, my ideal, my interest. So that sense of I remains. Individuality remains. When individuality remains, you are identified with body, mind, and sense organs. Then detaching yourself, falsifying the body, mind, and sense organs, and staying as a sakshi becomes impossible. Because more you have interested in the world, more your identification with the body, mind, and sense organs. Okay. More you are interested in the worldly things, then more the identification with the body, mind, and sense organs. Okay. Here purpose of nididhyasana is detaching myself from even the body, mind, and sense organs. Even the sense of individuality he doesn't remember. He drops off even that. Drops off means you create a mood for it. You pay attention to the Atma, and the things get dropped on their own. So in first two things are there in nididhyasana. One is withdraw from the external world. That is called antarmukata, or concentration on the Atma. Second is ratna parikshavat, watching your Atma. Ratna parikshavat, like watching the jewels in order to identify whether it is a true ratna or fake. Whether it is a true ratna or fake ratna, in order to identify, you keep watching the ratna again and again and again. Don't impose anything. Generally, you do not impose. You simply watch whether it is a stone or it is a real jewel. Okay? Keep on comparing, watching that and watching this, and after some time it strikes to you, oh, this is real and it is a fake. It is a stone, it is not true. Because there is a subtle difference between a stone and a jewel. Okay. Similarly, you keep watching what is self-existing and what is adhyastha. Okay. Just watching what is self-existing. Self-existing Atma is self-existing. Self-shining consciousness is self-shining. And what appears in the consciousness and goes away, what comes and goes is the body, mind, even the sense of I. The I notion too appears and goes. I notion, although appears to be Atman, because it appears to be Atman because it imposes Atman upon it. When Atman is imposed upon the I notion, we take I notion as an Atman. Taking Atman means what? Two things. One is it is consciousness. We take I notion is the consciousness. I notion illumines the external world. I notion knows the body, knows the world, knows everything. We think I notion knows everything. That means Atma is imposed there. When Atma's nature of consciousness is imposed in I notion, so I notion has got 2 points similar to Atma. It contains the similarity with Atma in 2 points. One is it is consciousness knows everything. In fact, it is not. But Aham thinks that. I notion thinks it knows everything. But the knowing faculty, knowing nature belongs to Atma. The nature of consciousness belongs to Atma, not to the I notion. I notion is only a notion of the mind. It is a thought in the mind. It is not consciousness. But because of adhyasa, I notion thinks that it is consciousness. Okay. Second point is, I notion thinks he is the innermost. It is not innermost. Because it also comes and goes. Innermost is the sakshi. The witnessing consciousness is the innermost. But aham takes upon the nature of sakshi upon itself. That means it imposes. So aham has got 2 features borrowed from Atma, imposed from Atma, Atma's nature imposed upon I notion, aham pratyaya. What are they? One is that it is consciousness, that it is innermost. Aham is not innermost because aham also outer. How do you know aham is outer? Because it comes and goes. What you can get rid of? Get rid of means you can remain without. You can drop, you can leave off your I notion and stay. You can stay without any notion. In deep sleep, you exist without any notion. Okay? It's an open fact. It's everybody's experience. You stay there or you exist without any notion. Notion means I am, the I itself is a notion. The I notion is in contrast with you notion. So I notion is a relative. Okay? I notion is a relative notion in contrast with you. But in Sushupti, there is no contrast, therefore there is no I notion. Have you ever watched why there is no I notion in deep sleep? Have you ever watched there is no I notion in deep sleep? Because I notion requires a relation with you notion. So it has to say, I am something different from the rest. It has to exclude from the rest. That excluding myself from the rest and say that I am different and I am other than the world. This relativeness is not there. Therefore, I notion can't sustain in deep sleep. Because I notion is a relative. I notion is relative. Relative to you notion. There is neither you nor I. You become notionless. That means there is pure consciousness without any idea, without any thought, without any notion, either of you or somebody else. Okay? All notions dissolve. Dissolve means, in fact, there is no notion. We call notions go away, notions leave off, notions dissolve. All this is our explanation. But in deep sleep, nobody sees the thoughts getting dissolved. No, has anybody seen the waking thoughts, the whole entire waking world getting dissolved in deep sleep? Nobody has seen. Since in deep sleep there is only non-dual consciousness and the world, waking world is not there, therefore we say it is dissolved. It is dissolved is a prakriya, is an explanation of the non-dual experience. Okay, non-dual experience of deep sleep is explained from the waking standpoint. Okay, assuming the waking world and waking state, you look at the deep sleep, then why this waking world is not there? Because it is dissolved. See, when you look from the waking state, what is the status of waking state from the standpoint of deep sleep? In the very experience of deep sleep, what happens to the waking state? When you put this question, this explanation comes in. This explanation of waking world getting dissolved into deep sleep comes in because still you are assuming the waking world and trying to see what is its status. Okay? Then we have to say, no, it is not there, therefore it is dissolved. So, to say that the waking state is dissolved, you have to assume it and then dissolve it. But in deep sleep itself, neither waking is assumed nor it is dissolved, neither. Okay, because the very assumption of the waking state is not there. Where is the question of dissolution? See, dissolution presupposes its prior existence. Dissolution presupposes prior assumption of the waking state. So the very waking assumption itself is debunked. The very assumption of the waking state is debunked. Where is the question of dissolution? Okay, that means it is only non-dual. The very non-dual is explained as something free from waking state. You assume the waking and say that you are free from it. But itself is neither. It is non-dual. So similarly, you see that I notion which is occupying the place of Atma is not Atma. It is a fake Atma. I notion is a fake Atma assuming the place of Atma, assuming the place of Atma, acting like Atma, thinking that it is Atma, but it is not. How? How do you know that it is not Atma? Atma, one feature of, one character of Atma is, one feature, the main character of Atma is that it is self-shining. I notion is not self-shining. That means it falls out of self-shining. It falls out because it doesn't enjoy that character of Sakshi. The nature of Sakshi is self-shining, self-existence. I notion is not self-existence. I notion is not self-shining. Okay. But it appears to be self-shining, but it is not. You keep watching. I notion is a notion. I notion is a notion known by the consciousness. That means I notion becomes anatma. Okay. I notion becomes anatma, then the consciousness is independent. So as consciousness is unnegatable, unvariable, consciousness is unnegatable and unvariable, I notion is not. I notion appears in the wake of waking state or any state, waking or dream. I notion appears in the state of waking and dream, but whereas in deep sleep, it's not there. That means I notion is also a tentative state. It is only a state, not nature. See the difference. A state is only a tentative, but nature is natural. Consciousness is natural. It is self-shining, self-existing. I notion is not. I notion but I notion appears as if it is consciousness. That's a big mistake. That is adhyasa. I notion appears as if it is consciousness. But while watching, is I notion really the self-existing consciousness? Is it self-shining? Is it self-existing? No, it is not. You keep watching. I notion dissolves. That means I notion disappears. You stand without I notion. That shows I notion can be left out. I notion can be left out. When the I notion is left out, consciousness cannot be left out because it is there self-existing. It has no state. Consciousness is self-existing, is not a state. Sakshi is not a state, whereas the I notion is a state, obtained in a given state, because I notion is related to the world. It is watching the world, knowing the world, related to the world. I notion is related to the world, whereas Sakshi consciousness is ever existing and ever shining, ever existing and self-shining. That means you can never see its absence. You can never see the absence of Sakshi. You can never see the consciousness not shining. But I notion goes away. I notion goes away in deep sleep, whereas the Sakshi witnessing is always there, always there. Okay, so this viveka, this discrimination is what we do in vichara, because nididhyasana is also vichara. Nididhyasana is also vichara. Only thing is you try to stay in consciousness and leaving out everything else. Therefore, I notion is also not that you are dissolving I notion into consciousness. I notion never existed apart from consciousness. First step, you negate it. You negate it from the consciousness. Once you negate it, where does it go? Because there is nothing other than consciousness. Two steps you can see. Once you see consciousness is not self-existing, self-shining like Sakshi. Once you leave it out, then once you leave it out, then everything being consciousness, it has no existence. That I notion has no existence outside consciousness. Okay? Once you leave it out, erase it from the consciousness. Once you leave it out of consciousness, it has no existence, then it dissolves back into consciousness only. Dissolves back into consciousness means its existence is inseparable from the very Sakshi. First, I notion has to be distinguished from Sakshi to discover Sakshi as independent and self-existing. Once you distinguish this much, the I notion which is separated from Sakshi itself cannot exist, because Sakshi itself is everything. Sakshi is self-existing. What is self-existing? Self-shining is non-dual also. Because from the standpoint of Sakshi, there is nothing other than Sakshi. Because Sakshi can't see any second thing. When you can't see second thing, you are non-dual. Once you are non-dual, then there is nothing other than you. The I notion which is removed also merges. Merges means also becomes inseparable from non-dual. So these are the two steps. First, you separate the witnessing from the I notion. Once you separate it, then you understand I notion can't exist. Then it is one with inseparable from the consciousness alone. This is a very interesting thing, strange thing. If you watch, you understand it. Okay. So vigata kalmashaha. He becomes free from all impurities. What is the impurity? The notions about Atma. All the various notions. Body is, world is a notion. Body is a notion. Sense organs are notions. Mind is a notion. I notion is a notion. All these notions are appearing in consciousness. Okay? And they act, they pretend as if they are the consciousness, they are the Atma. In fact, they are not. They are appearing in consciousness. They are appearing on account of consciousness, with the help of consciousness. They have no existence on their own. They exist upon the Atma. You recognize the Atma independent, then they have no existence. Okay, this kind of viveka is to be done in nididhyasana. Purification means you understand, you withdraw from all the notions. All the notions are not part of consciousness. Because Atma doesn't have any notion. Atma is free from every notion. So all the notions are separated. Once separated, they disappear. Disappear means they have no existence. Then you are only one non-dual. Therefore, vigata kalmashaha. See, purification, the purity, for a common man, purity is one thing. For a person who is cultivating vairagyam, purity is another. For a karma yogi, purity is of higher level. Then Vedanta Shravana level, purity is still. In nididhyasana level, purification means, see, everything other than Brahman is impurity. Everything other than Brahman is impurity. When in nididhyasana stage, anything, any notion other than consciousness is impurity. because all notions are detached from consciousness. They are separated, they can't exist, they again merge back into consciousness. So Sukhena, such person, Yunjannevam Sadatmanam, a yogi, a nididhyasi, a sadhaka, who continuously does yoga or concentrates in this manner, meditates in this manner, he becomes Vigata Kalmashaha. He becomes free from all impurities. Then Sukhena Brahma Sansparsham Atyantam Sukhamashnate. Brahma Sansparsham Sukham Sukhena Ashnate. Sukhena means effortlessly. Now there is no struggle. You don't have to entertain a thought to become happy, because the very nature of Atma is a happiness independent of any thought. Because thought means an experience. Two type of experience. One is a self-existing experience, another is an acquired experience. All our happinesses are acquired experiences. Means it is a notional, it is a thought. Thought means it is a state of mind. All our experiences of happiness are only a state of mind. Here now in Atma Jnanam, as a result of Nididhyasana, the happiness you get is not a state of mind. When the very mind is dissolved, it is the nature of Atma, it is not a state of mind. That's a difference. Therefore, Sukhena, you attain that happiness naturally. Sukhena means happily, effortlessly. Sukhena means happily, but here in this context, effortlessly, because there is no effort. Effort means a thought, a state of mind. See, in worldly sense, any experience comes as a state of mind. So there is a little effort involved in it. A state of mind. Happiness is a state of mind. You assume a state of mind. But here, when the very mind is negated, what remains is an effortless, spontaneous happiness. Because it's the very nature of Atma. Atma is not acquiring happiness, because acquiring means a thought, a state of mind. So it is the very nature of Atma. Sukhena. Sukhena means effortlessly he attains Sukhamashnate. What is that Sukham? Earlier we had Sukham through thought. Okay. Now he says Brahma Sansparsham Sukham. So it is only a symbolic language again. Normally we get any happiness, any state of happiness in contact with something. Either you remember something or you are directly in touch with something. Through your sense organs, through your mind, or through your memory. See, three ways. Through your sense organs you get attached to something. So that relationship with a lovable object or lovable person, your sense organs are in touch with a lovable person or a lovable situation, you get a happiness. Okay. That is a state of happiness. That is a worldly state of happiness. Now where he says, so this is called Laukika Sansparsha, Vishaya Sansparsha, in contact with Vishaya. Then mind also contacts. Mind contacts emotionally. A beloved person or beloved thing, it feels an emotion. Emotion is also a relation, a contact. Sense contact is one. Emotion is a second contact. And the third contact is beyond the mind. Now there is no contact whatsoever. So therefore, when you negate all other contacts, Brahman alone remains. It is called Brahma Sansparsha. As if it is a Sansparsha, because there is no Sansparsha. Sansparsha means you need a mind and Brahma. There are no two things. Therefore, Brahma Sansparshan should be taken more as a figurative. It is a figurative word. Because all other worldly experiences come through contact with worldly objects and emotions and thoughts and memories. Even when you recall earlier experience, if that experience happened to be a good one, you feel happy. You remember good experiences. When you remember bad experience, you become unhappy. This memory is also a contact. Emotion is a contact. Sense organs is a contact. Sense contact, emotional contact, and memory contact. These three are the contacts. Through these three contacts, we pick up an experience of happiness. But here he says, Brahma Sansparsham. This happiness is not due to any worldly contact, but due to Brahman contact. Hey, how can there be Brahman contact? It's a figurative, there is no contact. When you dissolve all other contacts, you remain Brahman alone. That's called Brahman contact. It's a figuratively. So, Sukhena Brahma Sansparsham. Effortlessly you attain it. Effortless means, I already told you, you don't stand as an individual, come to get you don't get an experience. It is not an acquired experience. It is natural, effortlessly. Means it is not on account of a thought, on account of a state of mind. A state of mind has to be acquired. What is acquired can be lost. A state of mind is a happy state of mind. Happiness is a state of mind that is acquired, and it can be lost also. But Atma nature, the very nature of Atma is happiness. Neither it is acquired nor it goes away. Therefore we say effortless. Effortless means it is not an acquired state, nor it is going to be lost. Its very nature is happiness. Or happiness is synonymous to Atma. It's not that Atma has happiness. There is no possessor-possessed relationship. There is no adjective-noun relationship. Okay? There is no adjective-noun relationship. Atma is synonymous to happiness. Because happiness means fullness. Fullness means there is no deficiency, there is no want. There is no want, there is no deficiency. It is absoluteness. Wholeness and absoluteness. The very nature of wholeness, absoluteness is only Atma. Therefore, Atma doesn't suffer from any deficiency, any want, anything missing. Neither it misses anything nor feels any deficient. It is full and complete. And that too spontaneously. Therefore, the nature of Atma is Ananda. So, Brahmana parena sansparshaha yasya tad Brahma sansparsham sukham atyantam sukham. He says, Atyantam generally means maximum. What is maximum? It is absolute. Maximum means, again you can compare. The word maximum is a relative term. Okay? There is a lesser happiness, therefore you can compare this is a maximum happiness. But absolute is not a compared one. Absolute is absolute, that's all. Absolute has no comparison with lesser happiness. Okay? Absolute is incomparable. It is all happiness, that's all. Therefore, atyantam iti antam atitya vartate iti atyantam. See Shankara's explanation. It is beyond any measurement. Anta is ending, measurement. Antam atitya vartate. It has no end, it has no edge. It has no edge. It is no ending, it has no borders. Border means where it ends and thereafter there is no happiness. So it doesn't have any ending at all. Endless. Endless means what is endless is only a natural. Therefore, antam atitya vartate iti atyantam. So atyantam can't be translated. You can only say it is absolute. Absolute is incomparable, immeasurable. It alone is everything. There is nothing compared less or more. It is not maximum compared to something else because there is nothing to compare. It is the whole, it is everything. So that absolute is everything. Therefore, atyantam sukham utkrishtam niratishayam, he says. Niratishayam is a good explanation in Sanskrit. Atishaya is subject to improvement. What is Atishaya? Atishaya means subject to improvement. Niratishaya means there is no improvement further. Why no improvement? Because it is absolute. In absolute, no improvement is possible. Infinite cannot be improved over. If there is something less than infinite, you can improve. Infinite is infinite. Now there is no more than infinite. After infinite, all measuring, all relations, all relative, all measuring, all gradation ends. Thereafter, there is no further gradation. Therefore, infinity Niratishayam, beyond all measurements, absolute. Ashnute vyapnoti. So sukhena brahma sansparasham atyantam sukham ashnute. Next shloka 29th. Idanim yogasya yat phalam brahmatmaikatva darshanam sarva samsara vichcheda karanam tat pradarshate. Now in the next 29th shloka, yogasya dat phalam brahmatmaikatva darshanam. The result of nididhyasana is intuiting oneself to be the absolute, and that is samsara vichcheda karanam. It breaks away from all samsara. Samsara vichcheda karanam. It breaks away from all samsara, and a natural state of ananda, natural state of freedom, natural state of awe, natural state you can't call. See, natural state, they are contradictory. Nature of freedom, you have to say. State means subject to coming and going. It is not a state. It's a nature, that's all. Words fail to explain certain things. That's why it says beyond words. It's a nature of Atma, where you become free from samsara, because free from limitations, all kind of limitations, and free from birth and death, free from pain, free from suffering, free from deficiency, free from missing. No such thing is there. It is absolutely free and happy. There is no fear, because you become absolutely fearless. There is no death, there is no sorrow, there is no even possibility of losing happiness. Therefore, there is no fear of even tomorrow also. There is a fear of neither today nor tomorrow. Is absolutely fearless. Absolutely fearless. So that is samsara vichcheda karanam tat pradarshate in 29th shloka of 6th chapter. Sarva bhutastamatmanam sarva bhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. He sees not as an individual, because it is a very individuality that is the cause of all samsara, all sorrow, all suffering. Sarva bhutastamatmanam. He sees himself as existing everybody. See, he sees himself not as an individual, but as something which exists as everything. Which is everything. Sarva bhutastamatmanam and sarva bhutani cha atmani. All living and non-living beings become one with him. He is one with the entire universe. Universe is one with him. So two sides, he says. He is one with the universe. Universe is one with him. Both the sides, he says. That means there is no second thing other than himself. Ikshate yoga yuktatma. An atma, a person who is yoga yukta, who attained perfection in yoga, sees this sarvatra samadarshanaha. He sees sameness in everybody. Same means what? He sees same atma. What is same? Same is atma only. He sees his own self everywhere. He doesn't see anything other than himself. Okay, this literal translation we have done. More explanation we'll see in the next. Next means this English Gita English classes only on Sundays. Okay, tomorrow will be Gita Bhashya in Telugu, and then Tuesday again same Vedanta Paribhasha in Kannada, and then some Mula Vidya Nirasa will be there. So that morning Sanskrit classes, Brihadaranyaka we are doing. I am not recording. I got some difficulty. I think that is in Sanskrit. Earlier we were doing Aitareya Bhashyam in Sanskrit. Now that is Aitareya is concluded. Brihadaranyaka we already started. Number of classes is going on. There is some good discussion in it, but I think I am not recording it. Okay, these classes are enough. But anyway, that will be in Sanskrit, only for those who understand Sanskrit. The talk will be in Sanskrit. But this next Sunday, Gita 29th, we will cover. Okay, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.